Hi, I'm Madelaine Petsch. You guys may know me as Cheryl Blossom on CW's Riverdale, and I want you to know that your dreams are never too big and always follow your passion.
Hey guys, it's Kirbie. Welcome back to Pretty Unfiltered. Today's guest, you know her and love her as Cheryl Blossom on the CW's Riverdale. It's Madelaine Petsch. Hi, babe.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here because I love how great the show is, first of all, and congratulations on all of its success so far.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
So tell me a little bit about you because this is pretty much your breakout role as Cheryl Blossom, right? Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Like, where are you from? Just tell us a little bit about you. I want to get to know you.
Cool. So I'm South African. So both my parents are from South Africa. I was raised mostly in Washington State.
Wait, what? This is amazing. This is amazing. I did not pick up on that. But I also love, your name is Madelaine, not Madeleine.
Yeah.
Which she was like, Madelaine. I'm like, great. But tell us the story about your name.
So, disclaimer, my parents are crazy hippies. My dad wanted to name me Street, and my mom was like, there's no way my daughter's going to be named Street. They're going to be saying, I'm walking the street tonight. Like, oh goodness, the jokes. So she was like, how about Lane? Like, Lane on the road. And then Madelaine came to fruition, and here I am.
That's such a cool story, though.
Is
I love
it?
that. Yeah, I actually love it. It's entertaining, to say the least,
Well,
right?
thank you.
Okay, so you're South African, grew up in Washington.
Knew what I wanted to do when I was 3 years old. Got into competitive dancing at 5, and then I got into theater at 5, and then I just kind of did my thing until I went to an arts high school at 18, or at 16, I guess, and then moved out at 18.
And then
To LA.
To LA, and you've been here ever since. So let's talk about Archie. Like, how familiar were you with Archie comics before you booked the role?
So my dad used to clip the Sunday strips for me when I was a kid. So Cheryl was never really in the Sunday strips, but I would always like wake up with my Sunday morning breakfast with a little Archie comic strip every single morning. So I was very familiar with the comics, but I didn't know who Cheryl was. I had never heard of her before. She's not prevalent in the comics, really.
Yeah.
She was like written out after like 30 years of being in it because she was too sexy. Just the truth. So I had to do a little research on her.
Yeah. And you went in initially in audition for Becky? Betty. There we go.
I actually went in for Legends of Tomorrow originally, and then
Okay, I read about this.
Yeah, and then David Rappaport brought me in. He was like, you're perfect for this pilot we're doing. Actually, the character that I want you for, we don't have sides for yet, so just come and read for producers for Betty.
Got it.
And then it kind of whirlwinded from there. And I
That's
waited 5
amazing.
months to go to Cheryl, and he was like, you're pinned for this role you've never heard of before. I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, great, I hope it's awesome.
4 months later.
Okay, so I would say that Cheryl does some bullying on the show.
100%.
You know, she's the HBIC in my opinion, and I think your opinion too. Did you model her off of anybody that you had encountered growing up, or maybe a character that you...
Yeah, I mean, I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. Like, I was
Really?
like the target of all the bullying in my local area. I
Really?
grew up in a small town, so
Okay.
I was raised agnostic.
Okay.
So that's like I was a little different in that regard. I was a very Christian-centric town, and I was vegan, and I was South African, and I was a redhead. So like, could you be any weirder to like people who have never seen anything like this before?
Yeah.
I was bullied a lot when I was a kid, so I just kind of like modeled it off that, obviously. But her bullying comes from a place of broken.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's where all bullies come from.
That's a great point.
I'm not sure, but now that I've like done this role, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be like so hard on myself from the bullying in the past. Like, it had nothing to do with me.
That's so true.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it is because Cheryl is so outspoken and she is authentically who she is. They think, well, she's the bully or she's the villain of the
Right.
show. And I actually don't see Cheryl as a villain at all. I see, because we know that, she has a very strenuous relationship with her parents. She's grieving the loss of her brother. So I think that's actually a really good point, that if somebody's bullying you, it's definitely not about you. It's mostly about where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, so have any of your castmates offered you a piece of advice that you're like, damn, I needed that?
You know, not to me, but in episode 1 of Riverdale, Luke Perry, Fred Andrews, says to Archie, the decisions you make, they make you who you are and who you will become. Be confident enough in them that you don't have to lie. That's my favorite piece of advice I've ever gotten, even though I didn't get it.
Frame it.
You know what I mean?
Frame it.
Don't lie. Like that. I mean, like for me, it's like, sometimes I make decisions and I'm like, ooh, I don't really want to tell anybody about that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I should just like keep it to myself. And I'm like, no, if I'm going to make a decision, be confident enough in that decision to be honest about it.
And own it, right?
So thanks Riverdale writers for that one.
Good job, guys. All right, so I tweeted that Madelaine was coming on the show, and she retweeted it. Thanks, Boo.
I got you.
And her fans went absolutely insane. Do you
I've
have
got
like
the best fans, by the way.
Do you have like a name for your fans?
Oh my God, somebody asked me that the other day. They keep tweeting me that, and I'm like, I can't come up, like, I don't know.
I
Like,
know.
What do you name your fans?
I don't
know.
That's hard. I feel like
They're
the
dope,
fans
though.
have
Like,
to
I
come
love
up with
them.
it. Yeah, and then you
Like,
just
you
start
guys
using
tell
it.
me what you want to call yourselves.
comment section. Okay, so I have so many questions from the fans, so prepare yourself.
I'm ready.
And I'm sure maybe you've heard a few of these, but I hope not. All right. Can you give a piece of advice to your younger self?
That's a really good question. Keep on keeping on. The most vague piece of advice ever.
The hippiest piece of advice.
Right. Well, it come from hippies.
Exactly.
But yeah, just like keep up with your passion. Like I think I did that for the most part, but there were days where I was like kind of not feeling it, and I'm, just keep going.
Something valuable that you've learned from Cheryl, like a piece of advice. Or has she said anything that you're like,
No, Cheryl doesn't really say anything that deep yet. Later in episodes, she will. I think probably just that you never know what kind of day someone's having or like where they're coming from or like what's going on in their world. So when somebody's mean to you or, like flips you off while you're driving or whatever, like don't take that personally because it generally has nothing to do with you.
So good. What would Cheryl's theme song be if you could pick one?
Oh, do you know that song Monsters by Ruel?
No.
It's so random. So this is actually, this is a really good story. When I was doing my producer sessions, like every session that I did to get Cheryl, I listened to the same song on repeat over and over again because it got me into Cheryl. Oh. So I did it for like 5 months and it's really good and it's kind of like, it's dark and moody and I feel like it's totally her theme song.
And I love the soundtrack, by the way, to Riverdale.
It's so good.
So good.
We have a Spotify playlist.
Oh.
Did you know that?
Honey.
Okay, she knows.
I'm subscribed.
You probably knew before I did.
Yeah, I like listened to it. I'm like, thank God this thing gets updated weekly.
Yeah, they're great.
Who are you closest with on set?
I mean, we're all like one big family, but I did live with Lily. We lived together in Vancouver.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Lily's great. Okay, so when did you first decide to become vegan? Because you recently have had a campaign come out with PETA.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you. I actually have been vegan basically my whole life. I mean, I was vegetarian and lactose intolerant. So like what?
Yeah, like
whatever. So I didn't like clarify myself as a vegan until I was like 13 or 14, but I never ate dairy or eggs or anything. I just didn't really know what that meant because I was in a small town. Then when I was like 13, I started doing research about like animal rights and stuff like that. And then I was like, I've been vegan my whole life. Like, what am I like? So now I'm like, on the straight and narrow. But I do have honey.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
But never had meat before.
Wow.
Never had like ice cream before or anything like that. Like real ice cream, like coconut milk ice cream.
That is so impressive.
Is
I love
it?
that.
Like,
No, really.
I don't know what I'm missing though. So I feel like it's more impressive to go vegan after being like a meat eater.
True.
Because like I'm like, oh whatever.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like, not
like-
missing anything. It's my life.
See, I feel like if I would prefer to have it your way though, because then you like don't have to worry about it, right?
Like it's easier.
Yeah,
my way.
you're like, yes.
Yes.
I got so many questions about shipping. They were like, who does she ship? Like Veronica or Beryl, like all of these. I was just like, wow. Okay,
I don't even know what any of these
I
things
literally just
mean.
wrote shipping. I was just like, shipping, do you have
I
anybody?
do like going to UPS. Yes.
She's the new spokesperson for UPS now. But do you have a character or two characters that you hope end up together?
I do have to say Bughead is like the funniest ship name I've ever heard in my entire life.
Unfortunate name.
Very unfortunate.
But I think they're cute together.
I think my favorite's Kevin and Joaquin. I ship them forever. I don't really want the independent females of our show to have boyfriends quite yet. Like, I love that we are, like, the one show on television right now that has young people in high school who don't have boyfriends. Like,
Yep.
when I watched Gossip Girl as a kid, I always felt like, oh, I have to have a boyfriend because Blair has one. And that's not the case. Like, I've been single for a year and I love it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I want us all to stay single for a while and, like, show kids that it's okay to be single and to, like, enjoy your life.
That's a really good point because I do feel like Cheryl is a very powerful character on the show and her entire storyline does not revolve around kissing a boy or like having a romance.
Exactly.
It really is about like who she is and what she's going through.
And going through all those like, emotions of losing somebody and growing up.
I love that. All right, what's your biggest fear?
Water. How ironic, right?
I know.
Because I'm in the water all the time for the show.
I know.
I have a really strange fear of open bodies of water, and it all comes from that movie, The Crazies.
First of all, I don't know what the Crazies is,
I'm a
but
crazy person.
don't let me see it. But
There's like this weird aerial shot, right, where you like it goes up above this lake and there's an entire plane underwater and nobody knows about it, and that just that gets me going.
Like my fear of flying always stems from going over large bodies of water, which people are like, actually, you should be more scared about going over land
because you can like actually get something.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm saying mine's very irrational, but like I was in South Africa when I was like 8 years old, and I was like going swimming with my brother, and I thought I was cool, and I was like, oh, go as deep as he's going. Shouldn't have done it. The wave takes me under. I'm like going under and under and under. I thought I was done. I was like, I'm dead. Well, whatever. Good life. I was like 8 years old. My mom jumps in and grabs me and saves me. So I think that might be where it stems
Just a little bit. I can see why you might feel that way.
Yeah.
I do want to ask one more question about South Africa. Is there anything that you learned there, maybe beauty-wise, that you thought, I wish more Americans would take this to heart?
wear less makeup.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear lots of makeup. I'm aware of that. But you go to South Africa and everyone's so natural and so beautiful and like, you know, they've got their thing going and they wear their natural skin with pride, you know?
Yeah. They don't feel like they have to cover
But
up.
that's a very like, you know, it's a very American thing. We do that.
I love wearing makeup.
I also like, I think it's kind of like a fun canvas. Like I like doing my own makeup.
It's like
for
an
stuff.
art.
It is.
It's a creative outlet.
Especially
for me.
now, like some of the makeup artists I see on Instagram, I'm like, whoa, they're like drawing things on their eyelids.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is insane. I can't do that by any
No.
means, but like I enjoy
Neither.
doing my makeup every morning. It's fun.
I read that you actually don't let makeup artists do your lips.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like, and then I also do my own mascara because I'm like very weird about it. And my
too.
brows for a while, I was kind of like that annoying person on set who was like, I'll just do my whole face, okay, thank you.
They're like,
And then after a
Madelaine.
couple of weeks, like I got comfortable. But I feel like makeup artists always like try to make my skin darker or like don't really know how to like color me properly. And so for the longest time, I felt like very like, but yeah, my lips, I like to do them myself, and like my mascara, I like to do myself.
I know, that's me too. See, we have something
Sorry.
in common.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I like to do
Okay.
my own eyes.
Well, I just get freaked out when something that close to my
I know,
eye.
like,
I'm
don't poke me.
I make some really ugly faces. You guys can gif what I just did, by the way.
Yeah.
Feel free. It was not cute.
All right, guys. Madelaine, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
This was
me.
so much fun. You're a blast and super hilarious. Guys, let me know your favorite part of this interview below in the comment section. Hopefully we can have you back, especially after season 1, so we can talk a little bit more about what's going on with the show.
Yep.
So if you have any more questions for Madelaine, leave them in the comment section. I'm sure that she'll see them because we're going to tweet this out to the gods and hope that everybody sees this interview. So also, let me know, who do you want to see on upcoming episodes? Cast of Riverdale. I would really love to get all of you guys in here
That'd be
for
fun.
a really fun
Be very
game.
loud.
Oh my God,
We're a very
yes.
loud group.
I would love that. So let us know, and hopefully we can accommodate that request coming up soon. Where can we find you? It's Twitter, Instagram,
Twitter is just Madelaine Petsch. Instagram is Madelaine.
which is so funny.
And Snapchat is Madelaine with 2 A's.
Awesome. And guys, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Kirbie Johnson. And we'll see you next time. Bye.